Tonight on Mental Health Matters with Marty, COVID schooling. What is really going on? Stay tuned. What's happening, everybody? Good evening. Welcome to another exciting show of Mental Health Matters with Marty on COVID schooling. And I am Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist. Listen, let us know you are out there. What's going on, world? Listen, it is still 90 degrees here in Southern California, but that's all right. I'll take that over snow any day. Listen, we are continuing this amazing conversation with COVID schooling. I don't know about you. I've been watching the news. I have to make sure that I'm not getting too much of it because all the stuff that's going on, our kids going to school, not going to school, schools closed, New York shut down again, parts of New York. So let's continue this dialogue we've been having. If you have been missing us, we started this back on the 4th of August, bringing in educators, students, professors, teachers, presidents, all these different people who we feel are experts from all over the country to talk about this pandemic, this going back to school, returning to school, all the things you should be asking, all the things that you want to ask but afraid to ask. But let's make this clear too. The purpose of this show is strictly for educational purposes only, as an educational tool. We are not a substitute. Let me say that again. We are not a substitute for any medical advice for yourself or someone else. And if you need medical or psychiatric attention, please dial 911 or go to your nearest emergency or urgent care, because we do not want to substitute any of that for that. But in the meantime, we do strongly believe in the CDC regulations because we all want to be safe. And with everything that's going on with our president this year, on this past week, we want to be safe. And if you need a mask, our own Speak Up, Speak Out, Speak Up, Speak Out, and Live mask. You know I got to plug it. Don't be mad at me, Thomas. I see you in the virtual green room. But this is what we do. But we are so excited. Listen, like and share now. Like and share. Get the people on here. We got some exciting people on here. Last week was absolutely amazing. Last week. So listen, like and share. Let people know you're on here, that you're viewing us. And listen, if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. We're going to go ahead and address them. But without any further ado, I got to bring to y'all my co-host all the way from the DMV. It's no longer Virgo month, but baby, it is all about the Libras. Yes, I'm having a reverse birthday this weekend. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, come on for our own resident expert when it comes to mental health, when it comes to schooling, when it comes to all of that. None other than Thomas Davis himself. What up?
I'm gonna do my plug too. What up, man?
I can't stand you, but I love you, man.
What's going on? Love you too, brother. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing well out here. We're doing all right, and we got
I like
on our
your pink shirt.
I like yours
Right.
too. And you know which one to wear. The polo,
Right.
brother.
You
Yes.
already know.
What are we repping by wearing our pink today?
Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And
That's
we are
right.
supporting Domestic Violence Month as well.
That's right. That's right. And those two go so hand in hand. We're talking about breast
Right.
cancer awareness, and we got to do this, do something else together when we're dealing with this. And in breast cancer awareness, we want to also make it clear that this is just not for women. That there are several men who also
Right.
have breast cancer and
Right,
going through
right.
that. And our heart goes out to those who are still going through it. We applaud those who are survivors of it, because I know
Right.
several women who have survived breast cancer with that. But we also want to shed a light on domestic violence, especially during
Exactly.
this time of pandemic. Thomas, talk
Exactly.
to us a little bit about your thoughts about this whole thing, because COVID has kept us inside. So especially
Right.
in school settings, teachers and all that have been some of the primary reporters of domestic violence, child
Right.
abuse, and all of that. So I think it's wonderful that October is highlighted just for that. In that,
Right.
talk to us some about what you've experienced and why this is so important to talk about domestic violence.
What's important to just understand is that we're all struggling in our homes, right? I feel like I sit at this table every day, all day. So just imagine being in one home with kids, with your loved ones, your boo on the side, just everybody is just
Boo on
in
the
one in the
side.
house. Boo on the side, just imagine just being in the house with somebody literally all day, every day. You begin to realize that I really didn't like how she walked across the floor. And so then things begin to get on top of each other, and then kids
Yeah.
begin to get on each other's nerves because mommy, daddy, I'm tired of doing schoolwork, and
Right.
things just begin to become pressure.
Yeah.
And what happens when we shake up a Coke bottle? It explodes.
It explodes. Come
So
on.
just imagine how we are as individuals. We are frustrated already. We are tired of trying to figure out, are we going to
Yes.
school? Are we staying at home? Do I still have a job? Am I going to get paid?
Yes.
So all of
Yes.
these things are just added on top of each other. So,
Yes.
it is very important that we as adults and kids and everybody just share your emotions. I feel versus pointing the finger stating what you did not do or what you did not say. So communication
Yes.
is very key. And we just want to let the world know that we are supportive of
That's
breast
right.
cancer awareness. We are
Yes.
supportive of domestic violence. And in
Yes.
2020, it's time for us to talk and speak our truth.
That's right. That's why I say it all the time. Speak up, speak out, and
And
live.
live.
And live. I'm surprised I haven't seen your mother make a comment. My mother's already made a comment on here
I'm
about
surprised.
domestic violence is real. It is very real. And
Right.
even with domestic violence, it is not just men abusing women, but we also got to deal with women abusing women, men abusing men, and women abusing men. So it covers the whole gamut
Right.
on this as well.
And
Tom,
siblings, abuse and siblings.
yes, yes.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
we've had kind of a couple weeks of a circus, and I'm trying not to be too political, but we've had a circus of politics this week
Yes.
when it
Oh,
comes to
yes.
dealing with COVID and respecting it and really taking it seriously.
Right.
With that, how as our resident expert. And how are things at your school and what's going on with you guys with this whole opening, reopening? What does it look like? And how are I know it's a loaded question, and how are you dealing with it and your staff as well?
Well, I would just say that overall, as I said on last week, we have learned to adjust and be gracious and be understanding and just know that there are things that no one knows, right? No one can
Right.
say that they have ever lived through a pandemic. So one of
Exactly.
the things that I'm just glad that we are able to empower each other and
Mm-hmm.
empower our staff and team, whether you in public schools, charter schools, in school, is to have a sense of flexibility and
Right.
understanding. And most of all, just being able to say what you feel.
Right.
And I think that we have provided a safe space
That's
for our
right.
teachers, our students, our
Yeah.
staff to just share with us what they like, what they don't like, how we can
Mm-hmm.
do this. And we don't take it personal because
That's
guess what?
right.
We're all in this together.
Together. Yeah. And I love what you said. We don't take it personal because everyone has a right to
Right,
decide how they want to educate their children,
right,
what kind of
right,
environment they want their children to be involved with. Because
right,
we got to think about what I love that we've done so creatively. We talked about Big Mama and Auntie who are raising their grandkids and their nieces and nephews and all that,
right,
and a lot of
right,
the coexisting conditions. And when you have multi-generational families living together, and you
right,
know the danger of sending the school kids to school, because some kids can be asymptomatic with
right,
that, but the statistics are going up because it used to be 2.2%, but now we're at about 11-12% of these kids that we
right,
said all send them back to school, they'll never
right,
get COVID. And now,
right,
and our heart goes out to those and I'm trying to keep it together for those young people who have passed, the 7 and the 8 year olds and everything. And I can, as a father, I cannot imagine having to bury my child. Y'all just might as well push me right along in the grave too,
right,
because I'm going down with them because
right.
I can't imagine that. And something that could be possibly be we take all the measures we can. I know as a father, I want to do everything I can to protect
Right,
my children. That's just what I feel is my
right,
responsibility
right.
in that. So yes, but we appreciate it. So Thomas, listen, we can talk all night. You know, you and I,
Yeah,
we got the gift of
yeah,
gab.
we talk. Right,
But
right,
we
right.
have some amazing guests as
Woo.
always. So yes,
Yes.
I'm gonna have you introduce your guests. We got 4 amazing guests with us tonight. So I'm gonna let you introduce yours first. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. So we're going to start with this young lady first. This young lady is a educator. She's
Mm-hmm.
been in the education field for over 18 years.
Okay.
She loves what she does. And
Right.
one thing that she wrote in her bio that I think very important that we
Mm-hmm.
let the world know that all educators are good educators.
Okay.
Just know that
Good.
there are some great educators out here
Right.
that is in it to win it and is here
Yes.
to roll up our sleeves and get the work done. So
Right.
this young lady stated that she is a passionate educator that strives to encourage and help cultivate everyone I
Mm-hmm.
come in contact with. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a powerful statement during
Yes,
these
it is.
times of uncertainty. Being able to just get everyone on one accord to support and encourage. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Miss Raven Hall.
Woo! Come on, Miss
What
Raven.
up, Miss Hall? What's up, Miss Hall?
Hi, how
How
are
are
you?
you?
Thank you for the introduction. I'm doing well.
Awesome. Well, tell us some about you, Raven, what you do and your passion for young people.
Okay, so I'm an educator in Washington, D.C. Pretty much where I'm from, the DMV. Love what I
Okay.
do. I absolutely love uplifting young people and getting them to that next level after high school. Um,
Right.
I am a parent. I do have two young students who also attend a DC charter school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love my community. I can't state that enough. I have a passion for my people, a passion
Right.
for young people, because I mean, this is real cliche, but they are our future. Without them, where will we be?
That's right.
My whole purpose in life is to truly cultivate young people into the next step in their lives.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the show. We're so excited to
Thank
have you and thank you for joining with us. Thomas, who's next?
The next person that I want to introduce is a young man who has been in education for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He loves what he does, and he is great at what he does. He is also an individual who what we call in the school system our problem kids, but there is no such thing as a problem child.
No,
But this
they
population
have
of
extra
students,
energy.
they are lovable kids. I love
That's
them. And
right.
so he works with them. He is a leader within the school district and he
Uh-huh.
loves to empower others and he loves to give people hope. And he's also a member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So I would like to introduce to you Mr. Reginald Romaine.
All right. Reggie, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, doing great.
Good. Question we'll ask you. What got you into this whole educational field, especially as a black man? We don't see
No.
enough. I'm going to say it that way. We don't see enough young black men who are passionate about teaching and helping our children.
Got it. Well, a long time ago, I was actually a special ed student. So my passion for education came when another teacher was able to see my potential. So
Uh-huh.
that made me be passionate to want to give back and to be in education. Being at a full special ed school,
Mm-hmm.
to me, I see myself in every student that I see.
Wow.
So with that being said, my approach to education is to observe the nonverbals and help teachers
Wow.
understand how to view the nonverbals and how to work with those students at where they're at and not try to get them to where we are. So
Mm.
that's where I'm at when it comes to
Love
education.
that. Powerful,
Ooh.
powerful. Yes, Daryl, can you put up Dr. Yvette Harris's comment again too, when we talk about not having enough black men in it? She says not, and I love that. Nearly enough. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Glad to have you. I want to introduce my guest right before you introduce your last one, if you don't mind. She's in the backside. I didn't give you a bio, Liz. You know I got you, girl. This is my home girl from LA. She is absolutely amazing. I say home girl because you know how you have those down home folk that are just
Mm-hmm.
passionate, who will
Right.
give the very last of what they have to help
Right.
that child. And that's so many of our teachers today. And she
Yes.
is exemplary of that, who gives her last, who's faithful, who loves her kids, will eat carne asada and tacos or whatever with the kids. It's all about connecting. She'll bring out her own games, spend her own money. But more than that, when I bring Liz out, she's going to share her own story with that because her story is powerful. And we got to get this on a book or something. None other than Mrs. I love that because I was at her wedding. Liz, you have me thinking because it was 100 degrees out there that day. Elizabeth Lee Reeder.
Hi,
Hey, hello.
What's up, Liz?
Hey.
Girl, I haven't seen you forever, and we just in the same Southern California
I
portion.
know. Since the wedding. Since the wedding.
Don't tell anyone. How long you been married now? Don't tell
3
me.
years.
Well, what had happened was,
Congratulations.
yes,
Thank you.
yes. Liz, tell us why you got into education and why it's so important to you.
You know what? To be honest with you, first I wanted to be a lawyer because that was obviously a financially lucrative position, and I like to argue, and I used to watch court shows as a kid, so I was like, I'm gonna be a lawyer. But then my father was like, you're gonna be a teacher, and I was like, they don't take no money. They don't make no money. You know, because I had heard people saying that they don't really make any money. So I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be a teacher because they don't make any money. So eventually I don't know, I just fell into teaching. And it's like that the door was open literally for me to walk off of my office job and to walk right into teaching the grade that I wanted and everything with no interview or anything on an emergency credential. And 20 years later, here I am.
Right. 20 years in the field and still creating. Yeah, Liz, you got some love out there. Can you throw that one up? It says Liz is an awesome educator. Yes.
That is my friend. We've been friends since we were 12. She is my mentor. She just became a principal. That's Dr. Lenitra Curtis. I don't know why she that doctor.
All right, congratulations.
Get these PhDs and don't put that doctor on there.
Listen, as soon as I get mine, I'm going to have it
Use
everywhere.
it.
I'm going to embroider it on my underwear, on my T-shirts, everything. TMI. Introduce our last guest today, Thomas.
Yes, so we can get right into our discussion. We have Miss Shanna T. McCauley. She is a great educator. She was originally from the DMV area, but she moved on down south and left me up here. But she's an awesome woman. She's a member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And she has 3 core values: family, education, and love. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to everyone Miss Shanna McCauley.
Welcome, Shanna, to the show.
Thank you.
The $1 million question: why education?
I was like, as a kid, my brother used to tease me, I was like a nerd. I just loved school. I was the type of kid, even my father would fuss at me. I would beg for homework, like if they didn't give us homework and things like that. So I just always just had a knack for learning, reading, and writing. And I just really wanted to foster that type of environment for young kids. So I just decided, I actually didn't major in education in undergrad. I was working in an after-school program for the YMCA my last year of college. And I decided then that I really wanted to go into education. So I pursued it at the graduate level and began teaching in DC public schools.
Awesome.
And here I am 19 years later.
Wow. Well, welcome you guys. We're going to kick off with Thomas. Thomas, lead us out.
Yes. So let's just get started. So we always like to do a check-in. So I would just like to ask a quick question. And the question is, how are you doing during this pandemic? I would like to start off because I was raised right. So let's start off with the ladies. So I would like to ask Ms. Reeder if she could just let us know, how are you doing and how are you coping during this pandemic?
I feel like I'm coping well during the pandemic. I was just discussing with a friend the other day. I feel like I have like a chronic illness. I have kidney failure. So throughout my life, I've had a couple of transplants, 2 to be exact. I'm up for a 3rd. I've had lots of hospitalizations and surgeries where I had to stay in the house for long periods of time. So for me, it's like, oh, okay, this is just like when XYZ happened, and I had to wear a mask because after you have a transplant, your immune system is low,
Right.
so you have
Right.
to wear a mask. So the only difference now is it's not just me; we're all wearing masks. So I think
Right.
that kind of prepared me for being
Wow.
able to stay in the house, and I feel like not having
Right.
any kids of my own is helping.
Thank you.
Having
And I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Y'all see why I love Elizabeth, because really she's not just dealing with the pandemic herself, but she's also
Right.
dealing with her own chronic with having kidney
Right.
failure and having a transplant up for a third one. So she's thinking about and I'm not cutting over. Remind me to get back. We're going to talk about the challenges you had with LAUSD. I don't know if I should have said that, but I already said it. Now it's out.
Compton, you can say it. The Compton Unified School District, and it wasn't really a challenge. It was a blessing, and the
Okay.
Lord opened the door. Thank you, Compton, for everything you've done for me.
There we go. So we're gonna keep this moving right
Love
along.
you, Liz.
So, Raven, how are you doing tonight? And how are you coping?
I'm coping, but it is definitely a struggle.
Mhm.
I have a whole newfound respect for elementary school teachers.
Yes.
Yes, I am an educator, but I have never, ever taught a 6-year-old. And though his school does a great job with the live teaching on Zoom, the questions, all the apps is wonderful, but you still have to do more being home with them. It's a struggle for us. I would say I'm coping, but it definitely is a struggle, and you do have to find those little moments throughout the day to kind of bring yourself back.
Right.
Got you.
Right.
Thank you so much. Mr. Maine, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right now. In the beginning, it was a little rough.
Right.
But now being able to not being stuck in my house, meaning that I'll travel from where I'm living to go see my child. That helps break up the sitting in the home all day. So sitting in and seeing how traffic now is getting back to what it's going to. So it
Help
kind of
us,
gives me a
Jesus.
gauge of how life, I guess, is going back to some type of normalcy. But for me, being able to get out of the house to travel to go see my child and then travel to come back helps me out a lot, just for my own like mental space and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you. And last but not least, Miss McCauley, how are you doing?
I'm just here. I'm just living. That's what, I'm just maintaining. I am back in school full time.
Wow.
And I teach. I'm doing some remote classes and some face-to-face classes. And it's a struggle, honestly. It's constant. I mean, today, honestly, I had a conversation with a coworker, and I just finally, I'm kind of at peace with it now. I was really, really paranoid initially going back.
Right.
We wear masks. We're supposed to. Let's put it like that.
Right.
But it's a struggle. You have students. They're kind of antsy. At the same time, they're starting to kind of get back to their rate of normalcy. I think children are a little more resilient than adults. But just going back out into the world every day, that's a transition for me because it's very scary. I have a household, children, a husband. I have my mother lives with me as well, and she's very high risk. So it's really nerve-wracking sometimes. But I'm just staying prayerful, and that's all I can do.
Yeah, but you're right. So many of all of us are, and I love it that it's okay not to be okay, and to express that. So I love each of you. Talk about it's been a struggle. We're struggling. That we're all struggling, and you're all struggling, just like the students, just like the parents, in that. But we're all love it. Rhonda says, "God bless all of you." That's right. In this,
Right.
And listen, we need to give y'all all the teachers an extra bonus stimulus package as well.
Stimulus.
Listen, 1 year you got to pay back, and it won't be on your taxes. Just kind of free money.
Right.
Because it is hard work. Yes, Elizabeth, share with us your shenanigans that you have to do to entertain kindergartners.
What? What, you want to know about my shenanigans and the things that I'm doing? How I'm over here singing the gospel ABC? I mean, that's what I'm doing, okay? And I'm over here. I'm up at midnight buying puppets off of Amazon. Doing the sounds. I mean, this is my life. I'm glued to this chair. I get up and we do the Kids Bop Shuffle. We do the monster dance. It's Halloween. I have made pumpkins out of plates.
Right.
I'm doing all kinds of things. I've had drive-by book giveaways to my
Love
house.
that.
Because I live in the city where I teach. We just bought a new house in a gated community, which is near my school. So I'm outside of the gate with my chair and table, giving
And your
out
mask.
books, honey, and my mask, and I throw them in the car as they drive by. I am, outside giving out stuff because it's kindergarten. We need to be able to draw, and we need to have Play-Doh time. I got Play-Doh, okay? We do Play-Doh letters every week. We go on virtual field trips. We do science projects. I had something exploding up here. My husband was like, if you get that dye on that carpet, you're going to get in trouble. So, I'm doing everything. I bought my own document camera, okay? I'm up here doing everything that I possibly can. I'm not going to show y'all this monitor that my husband bought because you cannot do Zoom with one monitor.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I got three. So I'm like, I'm looking at you, Cleavon. I see that you're not paying attention. While I'm sharing my screen, I see you too. Put that pencil there. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to see everything at all times. So now I don't really have that many behavior problems. We move like a regular day. It moves quick, and I can keep them all the way until 2:00. At 2:00, I am kicking them off. I try to let them go early, but they want to stay. I'm like, I'm not gonna lay down.
But that's a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that you are holding their attention. I love that drive-by book drive.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Throw the books.
So for Halloween, I'm doing drive-by trick or treat. So I've already bought everything. I'm gonna just throw the candy buckets at them when they drive by, but y'all gonna get this candy. You gonna feel like it's regular school, okay? You gonna get this candy. So
I love it.
I've already gotten ready because it's like I need to feel like I'm in regular school. So I know they need to make a connection, like it's regular school. And I think that's our biggest challenge, trying to make it feel as normal as possible.
Love it.
Ms. Rita, may I just shout you out? Like, you have a lot of energy. And I know if you have energy here, you are showing energy in your classroom. So I appreciate you for keeping it going.
I'm turning up at 8:00. I'm already turned. People drinking coffee, I'm drinking Pepsi and eating chocolate. I gotta be ready to go and go all day long. They come back from lunch like, I told you that the system was down this morning, and I was like, oh, I don't have to be on. I want to be excited, but I was, because I felt like I didn't get enough sleep. So as soon as they started emailing and calling me, talking about your kids are waiting to get in. I was like, I know they are.
Right.
I'm going to take an extra little break because I need it.
I was like, I know. I'll click. Hi, everybody.
Liz, you're crazy, but I got nothing but love for you. I know you got love.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Reggie, talk to us about and I love how you said, it was good to get out to see your students and all those things, your kids. How is this for you? And how are you finding creative ways to reach not just your students, but the parents of them as well?
So for us, we do have parents who are in the Zooms with the different programs that we have. Right. So what we do, we are teaching the non-teaching teacher to motivate and help give that parent reassurance that if they're helping their student out, that they're doing a good job. Because what we found out is that if I as a parent am confused or not feeling confident, what am I giving to my child? So with that being said, we want to make sure that if we have a parent that is online trying to help their child, we want to provide them with enough positive feedback so they're able to give that positive feedback back to that student so that they're engaged to be inside the classroom as well. For us, what we do is that when we have students who are engaged, that's great. And at the end of the day, we let them know. At the end of each class period, we let them know how their day was, so they get that immediate
that's great.
Immediate response back. But also for our difficult students, if you're having a difficult time, the non-teaching teacher will use a breakout room and motivate that student to come back inside the classroom, figure out what's going on, figure out how can we help you help yourself within that space. So what we encourage kids that, we encourage kids to use their platform to communicate, because within our program, we have a lot of kids who don't know how to positively communicate. So with that being said, if there's something going on within their own environment, we encourage them to either send a text through the chat of the Zoom, or either they have each teacher's phone number so they can text the teacher to say, I can't be on because of A, B, C, and D. So what we try to do instead of us trying to find problems, we try to find solutions. So if we have a student who says that, hey,
that's good,
I want to do my work, but I don't want to be seen, then the teacher will say, well, then you need to participate by the chat. If we have a student who says that, hey, I don't want to speak out, or I don't want to do A, B, C, or D, there's other platforms that we use that allow students to communicate. Because for our students, it's meant for our students because of the environment or just about what's going on. It's making sure that they're on the Zoom first, and then whatever problem is occurring afterwards, we'll deal with that. But we want to make sure that you're on the Zoom, and that we want to make sure that you're engaged, and know at the end of the day, like, we know that you're struggling because we're struggling. So we want to make sure that it's very transparent that, yes, we understand that you may have issues at home, but we are also human beings, and we also have issues as well. So it's kind of making sure that the students understand that, life happens, and that they need to understand that they need to be just as flexible as a child as we do as adults.
Nice.
So,
We got a question on the floor. You want to read that one for us, for Thomas?
Yes. So Miss Yvette Harris asks, how is your district supporting you with that, Reggie?
We're providing hotspots for our students. We are providing we are providing Chromebooks for our students as well.
Nice.
So we also have different schools. We have locations to where if there are any IT issues, the teacher or the non-teaching teacher will let the parent or the student know where to obtain those materials and how to get those materials. Even when it comes to food, computer issues, or they need more material, there's a day they're able to come to the school and get those materials. So yeah, that's how we're able to provide to the community or to our students. So for example, if a student has a computer and it breaks, the student will communicate with this teacher. The teacher will let the IT person of the school know that this parent will be coming to the school at this time to pick up a computer. And so that's how it works. So anytime that we have a student that doesn't have something, the student or parent will let the teacher know, and the teacher will navigate and let the parent know where to go to get those materials or need.
Awesome.
That's amazing about the communication, because that's the bridge and the bond we have to have during crises like this. So we have, and Reggie, I love that, and even love the idea of pulling them. I'm not in education, so pulling them in another chat room, if you're a virtual room, to say, hey, how's your day? I know when I used to do a charter school, y'all, and had all the kids that were dropped out from ages 16 to 25. And sometimes you had to pull them aside, like, hey, what's going on? This is not like you. What's going on? And, well, I haven't eaten. Get that top ramen out my top drawer and go get you a little something to eat so you can, feel what's going on. So I love the creativity in that.
Right. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go to Mrs. McCauley. Let us know what's going on with you, and how are you getting the support from your school district?
Well, most of my I'm an ESOL student, ESOL teacher. I'm sorry, I have ESOL students, so I'm teaching students that are learning English as a second language. So we have a lot of challenges. However, my school is very accommodating. We, just like Reggie, we have also we haven't provided hotspots. However, we do. My district actually gave the students an option, so if they chose to come to school, they can be face to face. And those whose parents wanted to keep them home, they are digital. We have provided technology. Just like today after school, we were planning for our first parent student teacher engagement night, and we're planning for it virtually. So we're planning activities where we can actually help the parents know how to navigate virtual resources, and help them, as much as they can at home. Because my school has a high population of second language learners, we do have staff and a parent center with bilingual educators that really help the community a lot. And my school community, they really are resourceful in and of themselves. They really do help each other, out. So like a lot of my students, sometimes when I'm in Zooms, that I notice that they're not at home, and I will see other children, in a room with them, and they're at a aunt or uncle's home, and the aunt or uncle is responsible for the Zoom, family members or whatever. So I noticed that they really they collaborate among themselves as a community as well. We've been trying to send materials home as well. Our students can pick up breakfast and lunch every day as well. They were able to do that throughout the summer. So it's a lot of resources out there. It's just like you guys were saying earlier, it's the flexibility. Everyone has to be flexible. It's all hands on deck.
Right.
We have some staff members that are out, for various reasons. So it's, it's putting more on our plate, but we really just are trying to come together as best we can as a community.
Right.
So there's a question, Marty, if you can post up from Ms. Harris. One of the things that I want to read out loud. What are schools doing for those students who are not in person but are not logging on? Also, what in the world is going on with suspended students who are learning online?
Good
so
question.
Who would like to take that question and answer it?
I can do the first part.
Okay.
All right, so the first part, what are we doing for those students who are not participating? What we do is that we do attendance every day, every class period. The non-teaching teacher will text the parent, call the parent, or the student. And then on top of that, we get the mental health provider within the school to also follow up and find out why that student wasn't online, why they chose to not be online, which in turn makes the social worker would have a session with that student either by phone or however that'll work. 9 times out of 10, if that student didn't come to the first 2 classes, by the 3rd class, the student has already come to a class. And that's how we operate that for those students who are not logging in, but they're also there.
Got you.
The one thing we do, I work in a high school, so it's a little difficult having them log on sometimes. But what we do is after every at the beginning, I guess the first 15 minutes, we get an attendance roster that comes out to all the deans, and it lets us know who's absent, and the deans are on it right then and there, immediately at, the class started at 10 o'clock. 10:16, the dean is making the phone calls not only to the parent, but also to the student, because we are in a high school. They're texting the student, calling and emailing the parent, asking like, hey, where are you? Is everything okay? If you're out, write a note so we can make up for that attendance. 9 times out of 10, we do grab the kid. Very few, I'm not gonna say very few, quite often, there are some students that are just not on. Maybe the parent is working all day, or maybe the students are like a grandparent's house or a friend's house, and they're just not doing what they're supposed to do. But the deans definitely go over and beyond to try to find that student. They'll reach out to a VP or another teacher in the building that has a great relationship with that kid, who can will that kid.
Right. Thank you so much. And it's just all about just communication, understanding that not all of our students are waking up in the morning saying that I don't want to log into class. And I think having those additional resources like the mental health piece that Mr. Romaine spoke about, having that attendance roster, everyone jumping in at the same time, making phone calls, texting. That's what's important at this point.
Yeah.
We also put interventions in place. Today, I actually had a meeting with a couple people on staff regarding a student who takes care of her siblings, because she's the only one in the house right now, and also her one of her cousins who has special needs. And so we had to come up with a plan for her. Talk to the parent. Needed to know how often she's in this position, which is, we found out, really is every day. So just collaborating with the social workers and her teachers to come up with a specific plan just for her. It does definitely take a lot of collaboration and working a lot of overtime.
And that part. But I love that you're collaborating, because for those of you who are teaching in our urban communities, and you have the multi-generational homes and all of that, we have to think outside the box. So teaching is no longer the same norm. And the weight becomes, we can't just, Trey had said something earlier, I don't know if you can put that one back up there, about how children just want to be loved. Yes, children need to feel loved, supported, and valued in order to give their best for successful learning. And when you make exceptions and create plans like that, they feel loved, they feel valued, because we didn't just hear them, but we saw their need, and we helped to come up with a plan to meet not only their immediate family needs, because in many of our Black and brown communities, big mama, auntie, all them, abuelita, I'm going to work on my Spanish. Yes, thank you. I knew you got it, Liz. They super rule and outrule the teacher. They like, listen, I got to listen to her. She the one, if I don't listen to them, I can't eat, or they're going to put me out. So I love that we are trying to come up with reasonable solutions to help in those very difficult situations with that. So applause and to all of you with that.
So there was a question. So Marty, there was a question that popped up to me, and they want to be anonymous. And the question reads as this: can someone please tell me, how can we deal with not so nice parents and not so nice students in the virtual world?
Let's do round robin. Go ahead, Liz. How do we deal with
wait. Say for how to deal with not so nice parents, like on the Zoom?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, not so nice parents and not so nice students.
Let's see. Well, as I said before, I had a not so nice parent, and I'm not gonna say not so nice, but he was saying something not so nice during my class time. So I just redirected him to my office hours. I was like, my office hours are from 8. No, I'm just kidding. But I just redirected him to when my office hours are. Like, you can't use instructional time to talk about political views and Trump and how they're just making the kids stay at home and they don't want the kids to learn. No, sir, I don't want the kids to kill me. I'm high risk. But
call my office hours and you'll know that.
I said, you know what? I can end class early and we can talk on my office hours. I have such a short window of time, and you're climbing through my window. You talk to them just like you talk to the kinders. You're climbing through my window.
Right.
I remember that.
It's like, okay. I am very patient with children all day long. I don't have any of my own, but I'm very patient. Out of the 20 years, I think 14 of those years have been in kinder. Every time I get out of kinder and go to a different grade, they put me right back. Every time I get out, they put me right back. So I'm very patient with the kids. Like, the kid has to just do all these things before my fuse starts to blow, because I can take a lot. But the adults, I'm not as patient with you. I don't want to have to just turn off my Zoom and say my system went down. I can't lie every day, but I do see the messages, and I tell them, listen, if I keep hearing somebody cussing in the background, or if I keep hearing that unnecessary noise in the background, I'm going to shut down the Zoom, and you're going to be the teacher for the day. I will not open it back up. You ought to see how quiet it got and how the learning environment changed. I started seeing backdrops and stuff on the wall and people walking around going, shh. I said, you can stay mute. I don't want to hear it because I am a mandated child abuse reporter. And if I don't
All right.
going on in the back, I got it on speed right here.
I love that one with the mama smoking.
Yeah.
Have you seen that with the mama smoking? And she like,
right. I'm like, Mom, that better be a cigarette because I don't want to see nothing else. Because I'm filing papers. I'm at home. I don't have nothing but time and opportunity. Time and opportunity. So yeah.
I can't with you today. Reggie, how do you deal with those those parents and everything?
So
Especially
for
dealing
us,
with special needs, and the parents may not understand because you have a very specific population group that you're working with.
so we've had those. We've had those. What we do is that when you're actually in the classroom, we put everybody on mute except for the teacher who's teaching. If you're off mute, and let's say there's inappropriate words or something's going on in the background, students who are being inappropriate, they're put on mute, and then a private chat is sent to them through the Zoom saying you're being inappropriate. And if do you need to go to the breakout room? Also, when it comes to a parent, we did have a parent come into a PE class during a Zoom, and we basically just told the parent, we put everybody, we basically told the parent, could we make a phone call? Could we put you in a breakout room? And it was easy to, it was pretty easy. But for us, what we kind of hang our hat on, I guess, is making sure that we do a lot of positive phone calls in the beginning. So when we have parents who are frustrated or when we have parents who are confused, it's easier to have that conversation with them, even if students even if they're on Zoom, because the parent already knows that we're not coming from a place of malice. They're just coming from, and we're coming, and the parent may just be coming from a place of frustration and not really understanding what's going on. So 9 times out of 10, we'll just take the parent and put them into a breakout room, or we'll call the parent. We'll have a conversation with them. But with our students, if they're being inappropriate, we just put them on Zoom, and then that is dealt with through their points. At the end of the day, they have a certain amount of points that they're trying to obtain an attainable item at the end of the week. So for them, our students are motivated by the points that they get throughout the week to follow those rules and follow those directions. And then for our parents, it's just making sure that we've had that communication in the front end. So when we have the difficult conversations in the back end, it's easier to have, and we delay them.
Good.
That's good.
With that.
That's good.
Yes.
Raven, so what do you think?
The one thing my niece and I try to do is remain positive at all times. Definitely giving everyone grace during this time, especially difficult parents, and not taking everything so personal, and really reassuring them, because a lot of it is out of frustration.
Right.
A lot of it is not because they just want to be nasty,
Right.
It's out of frustration, and right now even more frustrated because they're home with their kids, and they just don't know how to deal. So it's a lot of reassuring that parent that we are all in this together, and we are here for your student success. And here are some tips or some strategies you can do. Giving them some phone numbers. You can call me anytime. Like, what can I do to help you? Just offering ourselves as much as possible. And I do a lot on just personal experience. Like, I'm very open with my parents. I let them know I understand. I let them know I'm a single mother too. I let them know my son is in the same school as your son, your youngest son. To show them that we're here. You're not alone. But a lot of patients.
Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. And of course, as he says, last but definitely not least, go right ahead. I'm sorry. Go your thoughts on that.
I think I'm the last one. I'm sorry. I'm not being a good listener.
No, you're all right.
But one of the things I noticed, like I said, again, when working with my population, I really try to err on the side of just being really sensitive to the population that I deal with. I know that, if there are some things that are out of the student's control. I had a student the other day I'm a resource teacher, so I was the second teacher in the room, and the classroom teacher was reading something, or I can't remember. I think she was playing some music, and a little girl said, can you cut that music down? My brother is sleeping. Her baby brother was sleeping right beside her. And the teacher was like, well, we're in class, and I just said to her, I said, well, just mute it. If this is a song you've heard before, just mute it, just to take into consideration that she was in a bedroom trying to learn. And it's no point in being insensitive to the fact that this student, I mean, she was polite enough to ask, can you cut it down? My baby brother's sleeping while I'm trying to write this paragraph that you want me to write. So I really try to always, include that, think about that. But I had, when I've had one parent that it was a very interesting interaction with Zoom, my first time interacting with her. And I did the same thing. I had to redirect her. Her issues or her concerns weren't pertaining to me. I was actually trying to assess the student in a breakout session. So I went back to the classroom teacher and told her, this parent has some concerns. It was a really crowded, probably Zoom class at that time. I think some of the kids have transitioned to face-to-face, but the teacher was able to actually, after school, have a Zoom one-on-one session with the parent to just try to, get to the bottom of what the issues were. And, it was proven to be successful. So those are the basic strategies that I really try to use. I try to collaborate with my classroom teachers, and I just always err on the side of just being sensitive to the population I'm working with.
This is amazing because you guys have offered so many solutions.
Right.
Because too often when we're talking about COVID schooling, all we focus on is the problem of it. But we don't talk about, listen, whether you like it or not, this is what we're doing. And we have to navigate because our children deserve a fine education. And I salute all of you for being amazing, not just fine, but excellent educators that's going above and beyond. And we don't salute our educators enough, especially in our communities, in our urban communities, where we have to work a little bit hard, not a little bit, a lot harder.
A lot.
Yes, we have more limited resources. We don't have all these private budgets and everything that these folks have and have all the latest bells and whistles. We're creating them as we go. So I applaud all of you for what you're doing, how you're doing it, and maintaining it with a standard of excellence. That's to be commended, really, really. We had another question on here by Dr. Yvette Harris. Says, outside of PD using Zoom, has there been any other PD or emotional support offered at school sites for faculty and staff? So has there been any other type of support that you guys have seen that's been offered to you, or have you heard of any additional support system? Thomas, do you want to address that?
Yeah, so what I would just say that if there are any school districts watching, it's very important to utilize your mental health practitioner team.
Yes.
Utilize your social workers, utilize your co-workers, utilize your friends, utilize your school leaders, because we already know that it is okay not to be okay. But the main thing that we got to address is being able to have that relationship piece, that my teacher know at the end of the day, if I'm having a moment and I need to have 5 seconds, I know that I can go to my leader and my leader will be there to say, okay, I got you. Just take your 5 minutes and be there. And so I think that for us, I could say that we've been fortunate enough to be able to understand it, and we pride ourselves around this word called grace, right? Grace is a small word, but it means so much in these times in which we are living in. So it's very important to know your staff, know your relationship of your teachers. When they log in in the morning, scan the room, look at their body language, and just say, hey, are you okay? Good. Because guess what? Some days you're just not okay. Right. And so I think that it's very important for us as leaders, for us as teachers, for us as just being who we are, who are in the schools, to know your staff, know how to interact with them, know how to make it a safe space for them to pour out into you so we can build them back up.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. with it, because we have to. We say it. We're in this together, but not. We
Right.
can't just make it lip service, but we really have to make this life service, because none of us have done this before, and we're all growing, and we have to ask for support for each and every one of us.
These questions
Thomas?
coming in tonight. These
I know
questions
they are.
coming
I know
in.
they are. Yes. What's the next one?
What
Go ahead.
What if your leader is losing it? So, can someone just jump out real quick and answer this question? What if your school leader is just losing it? How can you support your school leader?
I call my musician in and have them pray for me.
Look, that is my sister that asked that question, and she plays the piano. So Michelle, you just pray for me for your supervisor. That's
All
my
right.
sister.
Lord
She
Jesus.
know what to do. She can play that song. Thank you, Marty. Can you answer the question? Michelle, you're gonna pray for me, and I'll sing. Okay.
I need you. You need me.
But Marty,
We're all apart.
if I could say this right quick.
Yes, please.
School leaders have a lot of pressure, right?
They
We got to
do.
make sure
They do.
that we are running as a school. We are running
Right.
business as normal.
Right.
We are making sure that teachers are logging on time. So there's a lot of pressure that they get. And
Mhm.
so there may be days where our school leaders are not there, but it does not mean that they are, having a moment. They just means that they just need some time to just get themselves together, take a breath, and say, I'm here for you, you're here for me, blah, blah, blah. But, just understand that just like we expect things as educators and teachers, so do our school leaders. And they are also
Right.
human as well.
Yeah.
I think the one thing you got to keep in mind, there's a space for you to manage your manager. And with that means is you kind of, okay, I need you
I
to
love that.
you need to go into a breakout room with me, after the meeting is over, let's just stay on with you and I, and kind of just talk to them. Because a lot of times it's like, hey,
Go through the window.
right?
Go through the window.
To help you get out of this headspace, or what can I do to make things better for you?
Yes.
How are you feeling? What did you do this weekend? You're
Yes.
so concerned about the staff, the students, and nobody's really asking them, like, how are you feeling? How's your family? So I think
Yes.
just extended that human,
That's good.
mentality, and just really asking them how they are would definitely help.
Right.
That's good. That's good. Y'all, can you believe that our time has gone by so quickly? We're barely scratching the surface. We're going to have y'all back again. We definitely will real soon. Liz, we got to put you on your best behavior. But how can we, Dr. Hall, yes, how can we get a hold of you in the future? How do we get a hold of you?
You can go to my Instagram, which is Ray Navar, RayNyvar.
Awesome. Awesome. And what would be your final thought that you want to give our listeners today?
Final thought. The one thing I didn't say too much about, just know that even though we're adults and we're trying to hold it together and we're struggling, the kids are struggling 10 times worse.
Wow.
And we can also think about their mental health. And sometimes it's like, hey, with my son, I might let him leave class an hour early because I recognize the fact
That's good.
and he's not getting recess right now.
Yeah.
So really paying attention to our kids' needs and being conscious of what they actually need from you.
Awesome. Thank you. That was amazing advice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reggie, final thoughts and how can we get a hold of you?
Final thoughts. I say it every day at work. It's not about you. It's about these kids. So even doing virtual, it's not about you. It's about these kids. So we need to meet them where they're at. And right now they're virtual, and that's how we need to educate them. That's kind of my final thoughts about that. I can be reached on IG, VARR.
DARR.
No, VARR.
Oh, VARR.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I said DARR. VA. Gotcha.
That ain't no Compton, y'all. We're started.
That's over here. That's over here.
Right. That's Come on, Miss Liz. Come on, Liz. What's your final thoughts and how do we get a hold of you?
Okay, first of all, I just got Instagram during the pandemic, so I have to look it up.
Lovely.
So my IG, guys, is Lizzie Beth. That's LIZZ_E_BETH. And my final thought is just like we want to show the parents grace, parents, you have to remember to show the teachers grace.
That's good.
Because this is something new for all of us. Like me personally, I went out sick in February before the pandemic. So I didn't teach at all. I taught myself all the programs. Zoom, I Zoom with my friend that's a principal. I learned how to do Google Classroom and how to split the screens and do all this stuff. I learned on my own. I taught myself in the summer because I didn't know if the schools were going to offer us trainings. And there were trainings, but they were minimal. So in order for you to start on the first day knowing exactly what to do and what to expect, it did take some, work on the part of the teachers and the parents. They don't really understand what goes into making this seamlessly. In order for me to share my screen and just move like boom, 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 like clockwork, I have been up since 6 o'clock, opening tabs and testing everything out to make sure it flows as such so that your child doesn't start moving around and we don't get through the lesson. So just like the parents want us to extend grace, I feel like grace needs to be extended on both sides, as well as towards our administrators. We all need to exercise patience to and with each other, and we'll get through it together.
Awesome.
Well stated.
Thank you. Yeah. Shauna, tell us about you. How do we get a hold of you and your closing words?
You can get a hold of me on Facebook. My profile is Shanna Dee. And my final remarks are just don't let the pandemic and the politics behind the pandemic consume your passion. We're educators for a reason. We're educators for a purpose. And we know as educators, we know how to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Come on, somebody.
So we can basically be each other's resource and each other's shoulder to lean on. So, this is a time to take the time to even strengthen your teacher network, your resources, and just don't stay focused on the goal, which is educating our youth.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
That's good.
Yes. Thomas, I'm speechless tonight. This has been an amazing panel that's just dropped some nuggets.
Right. And this is not about us. This is about you all, and you all have given the people hope to keep moving on. And Shanna, what you just said was phenomenal. Reggie, what you said was great. It's not about us. It's about these kids. What Ms. Hall said is great. Whatever one of you all have stated is phenomenal. And this is what the people need to hear. Not what the pandemic is, but how can we move forward and keep life as normal as possible. And Ms. Hall, thank you so much for just recognizing that sometimes our kids need a Zoom break, and that's okay. So thank you all. Thank you all.
Yes. So, Thomas, how do we get a hold of you?
Good. We try to say. So you can reach me at the following: YouTube, Limitless Possibilities, LLC, Instagram, Limitless Possibilities for You, and my website, limitlesspossibilitiesforyou.com.
Awesome,
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you as always being an amazing co-host with us. And as always, we want to thank you all for joining us on this special edition of COVID Schooling on Mental Health Matters with Marty. You could have chosen any platform out there to listen to, but you chose us, and we want this to be something that's good for you. Again, my name is Martina Sellers, your mental health hygienist. And also, join me on my platforms, of course, here on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube under Martina Sellers, Facebook, Mental Health Matters with Marty. Also, I do have my website at mentalhealthmarty.com. We have some amazing merchandise on there. Check us out. But also on my podcast, Mental Health Matters with Marty. And those of you who are Apple subscribers, please like us, give us a 5-star rating, and give us a review. And if you want to be a part of the Mental Health Matters with Marty I Matter member, simply type 31996 type I Matter to 31996, and you'll become an I Matter member, which allows you and gives you quick access to all the latest and greatest things that's happening with Mental Health Matters with Marty. As always, we don't want you to suffer in silence in the shadow of shame, but we want you to speak up, speak out, and live. Until next week, be safe and God bless.